First of all, again, thanks for having me here. My first time in Israel. You guys have been cool, just taking in some of my past history and stuff. And I've enjoyed like putting myself out there a little bit. But even though I like talking about all that stuff, what I really do enjoy mostly is making music. And what I do with making music, I use a sequencer. I use Pro Tools. A lot of people are always surprised about Pro Tools. They're like, Roni, you get creative with Pro Tools? I'm like, yeah, you know. For me, Pro Tools came in a time when a lot of the sequencers were a bit flaky. Everyone was using Logic, you know, and for me, Pro Tools was the closest thing to having a sampler. It was basically you throw all your sounds into Pro Tools and then you'd be able to chop them up. I'll just give you a couple of examples of what I used to do. I used to have like, so let's get rid of that a sec. For instance, I would have some of these breaks. Let's go through and find me a nice rolling break. Okay, let's do that. Let's go through. Okay, let's get that on the right place. So this is like, for me, it's a standard shuffle, but it's just a lot of frequencies it covers. And what I would be able to do is to, rather than having that in a sampler, it's a distinctive sound. I could go into it and I could see the waveforms really, really tight. You see my kick, see right, I need to get them cut right to all the shuffles in the right place. And in a sampler, you do the same thing, you put the sound in Pro Tools, and management does just get that and treat, this is my sampler. This is the view, my favorite view of all time is a waveform. I love a waveform. What we were talking about earlier on was in drum and bass, it was about having, first and foremost, was a tempo. You know what I mean? Everything rocks around about between 170 and 178. 178 really is like, whew, you know what I mean? That's DJ tempo. But in the studio, I think this is like 175, I'll find that in a second. I like about 174. I like my even numbers. I don't like to be 73, and I don't like 77, and you know, I like my numbers to be even, so 72, 74, 76, great. Maybe I'm superstitious, I don't know, but that's what I like. So just, yeah, we have our layers. So I add fat stuff in there. I like my shit to be fat, you know what I mean? If you notice, these are like taken from old, this break here is taken from an old record. Like what we talked about earlier, about Funkadelic. This is probably like somewhere from that era, where you could not buy this in a drum machine. This is like, only I have this break. Unless you know where I got it from, then you don't have it. So to me, it's like what I went back to, that school of having stuff that only you have. And once you learn them up, that's how you have your sound. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, you know. Then you have your standard stuff. If you go into Jungle Warfare, or you go into any preset or sample CD, you'll get hot pants. It's a James Brown break. It's something which is a standard, it's industry standard. Everybody uses it. It's what is a sound, it's the sound of drum and bass. You have the Amen Brother, right? And then you have hot pants. These are two breaks that everyone uses. If you go and use a tune, make a tune with this break, you're gonna sound like everybody else. But if you layer them up and you get them all sitting together sweet, you start to be able to create the rolls and the layers that you have. Then you start to add more layers. Start to jump out at you now. The snare like, start to crunching. And then you start to have your main kick and snare. So now, it's all gelled together. You've got all your layers in there, right? And it doesn't sound too bad. There's hardly any compression on there or anything. It really is just simple, a bit of gating here. I've left it kind of real flat in the room. Do you know what I mean? But if I do some EQing, what I'll do, I'll probably end up shelving a lot of the lows out and keeping a lot of the highs in. But the way that I kind of do it, I'll put stuff through a bus. At the moment, nothing's being bussed, but I'll put stuff through a bus. And I'll put all my drums through one bus, and I'll do this shortly. I'll stick through one bus, and then I'll probably like EQ all together in one bus, put a compressor on it, put a limiter on it, and make it all sound nice and squashed together so it's one thing. And I'll do that in a second. first of all, just want to show you the layers that I've had first and foremost in there. Remember I was telling you earlier on about the highs, that 20, that getting that, it comes from house music, you know what I mean? Steps, that real nice high, shaking, shimmery stuff, that's what they have sometimes. All that there, that highs there, you can shelve all that to make it sound really cool and really nice in the mix, and that's what makes up the sound. It gives you those highs. And you know, tell me that you guys, you know, am I losing you a little bit? You guys know about this stuff already? You know bits, you know, I'm not boring you, you know how to get to this? Okay, so that's kind of how I do my drums, right? So let me take the solo off. Now, this is made a certain way because I want this here to be an intro. I'm a DJ, so this is what I call a mixed intro. As I DJ, I'm like that. That's my vibe. I'm in. I'm like, that's my vibe. And if I want to, I can. You know what I mean? I can mess around with it. I'm in the mix. That's how I do my shit. So let's just go back one more time. That's how I DJ. Do you know what I mean? I kind of use the mixer, I use all the effects on the mixer. This is a track I did with Dynamite years ago on In the Mode. It's a track called Dirty Beats. But a lot of people say, oh, I love the sample in Dirty Beats. It's not a sample, it's come from some Akai machine, the string sample. Let me just put that on the solo for you so you can hear, okay? I'll break it down to you. Alright, you've got to check it. So like, got a little synth in the background. Let's get some volume on that. Next piece, don't open up. So these are like my little separates. It's just nice broken down. I can't even find the patch which I did this with years ago, but I love it like that. It's like the old school way of, you know, you've got it in your head here and you can't get back to it. Otherwise, I would have made 20 tunes with these sounds and I would have killed the sound by then. But because I didn't have the sounds, that's it. I've made one record with these sounds in it and that's it. And it doesn't sound special, but all together, you put them together and they sound like. And it's distinctive. So it's the simplest thing. Back to that simple sampler, we only had a certain amount of seconds. That was it. So basically, you know what I mean? I had that, and then what I did, I had. So we'll go forward.
Coming down, new sound, you should be thankful. 30 riffs, 30 beats, and 30 samples.
Now these vocals are done through an SSL desk. And there's a Rode microphone, and it's great. Love the way the company can hear all the spits in his mouth. You probably hear a bit of his chain in the background where he's jumping around in the back, and you know, it was the whole way just catch the vibes. You know, Dynamite to me, his vocals are clear, comes across. I love the diction on it. Again, I don't think there's much EQ on this stuff at the moment. Yeah, so we're pretty flat. You can see the. Yeah, some real hard compression going on there.
Sell out shows, take the money, then we cancel.
You know, I love my shit slamming. You know what I mean? But what I would normally do, I would probably go in and I would probably shelve out some of the bottom end of the vocal. So just give you an idea of what I mean, shelving out the bottom end. I like these here, these plugins. A lot of modern music today is done with analyzers. I don't know if you guys even know about people using analyzers in music, but a lot of this stuff today is done with spectrum analyzers. You can see here, you can see all your peaks, you You see everything. You see what needs to be boosted, what needs to be cut, what needs to be taken out. And this is how you can get your music sounding great and loud and, you know. I hope I'm not like patronising anyone there. Everyone there seems to know what they're talking about. Yeah? That's cool. So what I do, you know, I can see that there's loads of just rumble down here. So I'm going to get rid of that rumble. Do you know what I mean? Just take that out a bit. And I like to
samples.
I like to surf.
Shows, take the money, then we cancel.
I do a bit of surfing.
Front rows, back rows, get it
so I'm not going to get into too much EQ and stuff because you can be here all day. It's one of those things.
30 beats and 30 samples. Sell out shows, take the money, then we cancel.
And then normally what I would do is I don't really add reverb on vocals. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's cool, but I like to use a lot of delay. It's always a personal touch, what people like to do. You know what I mean? So like, yeah.
30 rips, 30 beats, and 30 samples.
But then we get to the most important part of any track. For me, the most important part of any track is the drop, and it's the bass. For me, you know, a lot of people, it depends if you're making music for radio, then yeah, it's the vocal. You get the vocal up there. If you're making, you know, orchestra music with strings and stuff, then yeah, then you're going to put your strings right up there in the mix. But from where I come from, I make drum, I make bass. So the two most important elements that I want to have up there, I want to have the drums and I want to have the bass. So I'm going to go forward slowly and I'm going to go just straight forward to the drop. There's a thing that we have, it's called fireworks. In most music, it's the firework, it's the build-up, it's the build-up. It's the one that gets the crowd moving. They know that something's coming, something's going to happen.
You're mad?
So what I would normally do, I'll have two basses, right? You can hear that they're both at the moment the same, and I would have one bass doing the bottom and one bass doing the top. Let me get rid of this right here, and I'll show you how to get them sitting sweetly. This is how I do it. So I take one side, I get an EQ, you get a fab filter or something like that. And I take it straight down to 90, because to me that's my sweet spot. That's what I'm about right there. That's all I need from that sound. I just want my 90. Some people, they might go right with the bottom end and they'll go to 40 or 30. You can't really hear much happening. So these frequency response speakers, it's happening around about, you know, if I go right out in the C. So yeah, even there it's quite nice. But let's keep it 30 for now. And maybe what I might do as well, I might make the curve a nice tight curve. So I'll get this, so there's none of this rubbish down here is happening. All that does is make the speaker do this, and nothing's coming out. So you can't get the sound loud how you want it to be loud. You want this to be punchy. And then I'll get the top end, turn it down a bit. So I'm using a trackpad here, so you have to bear with me a second. I'll do exactly the same, so. So what I do there, so basically, so for me, I split stuff. I have like the one half doing one half doing the other. This is quite important from where I come from. In my world, because it just gives the drums more space to breathe. That's what I personally think. Everyone's got their own techniques about how they want to do their mix downs and stuff, but this is how I do my mix downs. And like this, I get my result every single time because I give each frequency its own pocket. So I know that I'm going to go right up here to, yeah, around about 300. Yeah, and I'm quite happy with that. Those two together. So now it's just a level thing. I've got some limiters going on here. So this is like a session that I just threw up because I just thought it was interesting to throw up. So I just use that as a level. Bring that right down. That's cool. So that's cool for now. Do you know what I mean? And then I know if I add my kicks and snares back in, if I had my drums back in, So now it's just blatantly just levels and just try to get all my level and a bit of EQ and stuff like that. I use these L1s sometimes just so I don't go into peaking. I would normally like just have it so it's just like never go more than like 3, -3. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't like it when it's going really too much. I mean, if you catch it, I keep it quite slow. It doesn't let nothing jump out the mix. That's another personal thing as well. You know, everyone talks about compression and EQ, like, you know, 2:1 and ratio and all that kind of stuff. I kind of use my ears quite a lot. But then when it comes to the overall mix, I definitely use like an analyzer on the last part of the mix and just add the EQ on the very end of it all to get it to gel. So let me just move the track into a little bit. So I don't want to go too deep into it, right?
You're mad.
Yeah, so, okay. So let me just group. So has anyone got any questions while I'm going through this? Come on, somebody ask me something.
The EQs of the layer drums, you know, like you low shelving the high.
So I'll do you want me to just do a little bit of that now, yeah?
Yeah.
So okay. So let me just make sure. So I'm using this trackpad here. So is it a percentage of people here that use Macs or they use PCs? I see a lot of Macs in the room. So yeah, it's quite hard with the trackpad, but we can make this happen. Come on, Ronnie. Go on, let's do this then. Okay. So let me get rid of some of these. That's a bit clearer. Okay. So what I'll do then, I'll go. Let's do that. Let's do. Let me just find out where I am. So for instance, on this here, I've got like a kill switch, which I quite like. So you can hear all the rubbish on there. So straight away, I've kind of just gone right all the way up. I'll probably go a bit higher than that even. So let me just do a little bit more of that. I would probably go up to there. Know what I mean? I'll go right the way up. Okay. If there's any suggestions, so this is like a typical. Oh, got to make sure. So all my highs. Let me get just so I give you an idea about what I'm trying to do here. So that's quite dull, but then I would still shell quite a lot of this out. And this is what I'm saying about having your own specific sound and stuff. I will take it right up like that, so I've still got most of the groove. So, what I love to do, you can hear all the bottom end and all this kind of stuff. You can hear it all just singing away. Just keep all that stuff that's shaking on the top. And this is just like for a standard, you know, for me, a drum and bass record, which I kind of like enjoy making, DJ tools. This is just a standard way that I would work. I would probably add some compression in and, you know, do a little bit of side chaining here and there. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, at the moment, it's quite hard doing this with just a track pad. Probably need my mouse and stuff to get it singing properly. And then I'm just giving each thing space. You see what I'm just, but what I'll do, let me quit, yeah. All this stuff here, it's layers and layers. And for some people, it might sound like it's too much layers, but it's not really. You know, it's how you treat them. You know what I mean? Just take out all that rubbish so you know when you drop the kick and snare in there. And a lot of people are always about this, like, you know. So the kick and snare has become more dominant. Normally I would sidechain all the breaks to the kick and snare to these breaks. So I'd probably like have them like bus 25. So if I do that, I think this is a bus 25. Yeah, you can see there on there is Is that the gate or is that the compressor? That's the compressor, right. So you can see I've just sidechained it, 35, and it's just pushing stuff down every time the kick and snare come in, just to give it more space.
Snare sidechain, the kick?
I do the kick and snare, right? Kick and snare sidechain into all the shuffles and all the high-end stuff. Yeah, just like everything, just so that the kick and snare are always, to me, in drum and bass, that's important. And a lot of the dubstep boys, what they'll actually do, they'll actually take away anything in the way of the kick and the snare. So I mean, they won't have nothing in the way. They kind of just take everything away. So it's just like, and nothing's in the way than the bass line. So that's in dance music. I think it comes from a rock background. I think it comes from where they used to do with SSL. That all the rock artists used to use these techniques. That's where it all comes from. Yeah, so for me, it's like, you know, I can spend all day sitting down here. Take me like 20 minutes just to mix the whole record. You know what I mean? But to give you guys an idea, you know what I mean? I've just put like a bit of EQ on there. But that's the kind of thing I would do. I would add just a little bit of bass, a little bit of mid. To my ear, so I mean, you know what, it's quite right. You know, I would probably as well, like I said, I definitely will bust everything. If I can get a bus channel up here, okay, and go to new track, I do a stereo auxiliary, and I do that, and I do give it a number. And I don't want to bore you guys all with all this kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'm passionate about all this. I love doing this stuff. This is what I can do all day. But you know, I would definitely like bust it. Let's try 5 and 6 actually, because it looks a bit cleaner. Okay. So now I'm bust. That's all bust. So right, I can take that off here now. And then what I would probably do is just add and just do it here. And I've got full control of it now, and I can add a compressor. Straight away you can hear that's just way too whacked, way too whacked. Depends what you want to squash or how you want to squash it. But you can hear the compression on there, it's a bit too whacked, you know what I mean? Pull it back a little bit, you know what I mean? So it takes a little bit of time to tweak it all in and stuff like that. But when you got it on the bus, I use this one analyzer, and this is like for me a trade secret. I use this analyzer here, and this analyzer tells me everything that I need to know. With this analyzer, it tells me all my peaks. Really, I want to get this line here from 500 all the way up. I want that line there, the yellow line. I want that to be flat. That's what I want, all the way up. See this? I've got all these peaks and stuff going on here. You know, you want your kick and snare on this line here. Boom, 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 boom. That's where you want it. You want it on there. You want that to be nice and flat. And then your bass will sit just under the kick. So that's how I use the analyzer. Now, especially with your sounds, I go through each one of my sounds and I take out all the little peaks and all the little, you know, I go right in on it. You can hear me like notching stuff out. I live and die by this analyzer. And there's a great couple of screens. This one here is a bit more plain viewing. Do you know what I mean? Look, you can see it's just all everything, but you can see what jumped out at you. That 200. Bang, snare, 200. Perfect, you know what I mean? So I know that I've spoken a lot about the drums, so let me just go back, let's look at the analyzer on the bass a sec. Do you know what I mean? Let's see what's going on that. And, you know, with the vocals for me, it's like, if the vocalist is good, then they're going to sound good on any microphone at any time. If the vocalist isn't that great, do you know what I mean? Then you're always going to be there, sitting down there, working with the trying to get the vocalist to sound great. So vocals, it's quite standard. You get, you know, a good vocalist, it's going to sound good from the beginning. Get a bad vocalist, it's going to be hard work. Do you know what I mean? As simple as that. That's for me. So is this how you work? Do you work similar to this kind of idea?
Well, actually, I'm trying to sample all kinds of things and mesh them up and like control very
So you go quite in depth on your EQing. Do you go in there? Do you use a lot of notching, a lot of shelving?
Actually, body EQ I go by ear usually. But, but
I'll tell you the one thing I've learned about the analyzers is like, you know, there's certain frequencies that your ears sometimes they lie to you. You know, especially for me. I mean, when I DJ, I get home and one of the first things I cannot do is go into the studio because of my ears. So I need to rely. Like this weekend, I've got 2 remixes to finish. So I know that to get these mixes finished, I'm definitely going to have to use the analyzer and make sure that my ears aren't lying to me. So I think it's quite important. You know, a lot of people, they don't, you know, it's the same thing that old school people, they just don't use sync. Do you know what I mean? Old school people, they don't use analyzers, they use their ears. You know what I mean?
Analyzer open.
I always have the analyzer open.
Yeah.
And to me, it's helped me to be able to advance my sound that much more and to work a lot, my workflow's a lot quicker. So, you know, it's something that's become part of my makeup over the last God knows how long. I really enjoy doing that. And like I said, like Pro Tools for me is a preference. You know, like I said, I've used Cubase in the last couple of weeks and I really like it. I think it's a good machine, but I don't think it's got anything on Pro Tools whatsoever. So I mean, Pro Tools is a great palette, it's a great way to work. So, you know, I'm not really gonna try and mix this too much, but normally what I would do is then, if I make my master track active, everyone does it. Everyone, you know, thinks that they can finish a track. They put a master on, you know what I mean? Everyone throws it on, and they go to a preset, and they go straight to a preset in Ozone. Now, everyone uses Ozone. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of those things that it's kind of industry standard. You can be a bit too harsh with it. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm not a mastering engineer. Do you know what I mean? So I just like put limiting on the back end of it. But as a DJ, you make a tune in your hotel room and then you come straight out of the hotel room, you know what I mean? And you want to play the tune straight away, make it the same day, play it the same night. That's the culture I come from. We just whack out Ozone straight on the top and hope for the best really. Is like, I like to use soft clip. So let me make that active. Just give it a 1 and 2. So like I said, this is like nowhere near a mix, but I'm just showing you my routine and what I do. So as you can hear, everything's compressed, everything's like kind of all over the place at the moment. So let me just do some levels. And look, this even tells me. It even tells me, you can see like peaks, you see red, you know what I mean? It's just, everything's just flying. So you need to pull all that stuff back. You need to pull it all back. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they don't care about the red. Me, I can't do anything in the red. You know what I mean? Unless it's just like something you get like from a desk and you distort something and then you leave it in the red. Do you know what I mean? And then resample it. But I always just pull that straight back straight away. Get my master. Go on, that's it. You go out there, son. Okay, not in the red now, so now we'll get more from it. So let me do a few more levels. So this is where it gets to a point now where all I'm doing is just like doing my levels. Oh, let's take it up the group stage. You have to excuse me a sec because I've got these all these things open. Something that you can't do in 2 minutes flat. So I'm going to go back to the main part of the sequence. Okay, let's just go back to where the main part for me is just on the drop. Probably sounded better when I started off, you know what I mean? Because it was all quite flat. But give me 2 minutes, let me just get some levels and then we'll see how it all sounds. Let's get this top end bass up. That's it. That's nice. Still peaking a little bit. Get that crash down. I'm not really sure how loud you guys have it in this room. Do you guys all use these speakers to hear your stuff playback on, right? Do you use these? Do you not do, so when this room, how does it work in this room then? Do you guys, you play your stuff through these speakers so you can all hear what each other's doing? Is that how it works in here? Yeah? Quite interesting. So, yeah, great. So is this room like sonically treated as well?
Yeah, but this is the computer stuff. They have the...
You have the studio upstairs. Nice. Is there a desk up there?
Yeah.
What desk is it?
It's the Mackie.
So it's quite an old school Mackie, which is, that you can run into the red all day. Do you know what I mean? That can go into the red any single part of the day. So this is something that I'm not really used to doing, which is talking and mixing at the same time. Normally, I'm just at home in my room with just mixing and EQing. But you know, this is quite fun. I've done a few tutorials before, and just to give you an idea. So this is like my reggae influence right here.
Coming down, new sound, you should be thankful. 30 riffs, 30 beats, and 30 samples. Sell our shows, take the money, then we cancel. Front rows, back rows, getting trampled. Coming down, new sound, you should be thankful. 30 riffs.
Quick fix, right? That's what we call it. The ozone, the quick fix. You can just hear it straight away. Put the stuff on there. It's just, you know, it's just an easy way for me to get from A to B and show you guys what. If I'm DJing, that's what I'd probably do. You know, but then I would work out what the ozone's doing. I would again use the analyzer and just find out exactly what it's doing. And I'd probably go to it and make any minor adjustments.
You're mad.
So all the little sounds that go around it and everything, for me to go into that, it's going to just like, to do it on the trackpad is quite hard. Go for it.
Yeah. So you use reverbs?
No. I do use reverbs, but not on vocals. For me, unless it's on this type of vocal, on the rap vocal, I would use a slapback. I would probably use a H delay slapback. For me, reverbs sometimes they really muddy up a mix. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, why is this mix just not? It's just not working, and you just realise when you take the reverb off, it just sounds really clean. And it just sounds quite organic. You know what I mean? I never put reverb on the drums, and you know, if it was something down tempo maybe, or maybe on just like a hand clap, I might put like some just reverb just so it's elongated it. It depends on the type of reverb, and it depends on like, you know, when you're DJing and you're playing a dance floor record, you know, and I'm talking from a DJ perspective, you know, no one's listening to, oh, that tune's got great reverb in it. They're not really saying that. They're saying, you know, with the bass or the drum, that's what, to me, that's what people are saying. But I do, you know, sometimes I use the reverbs, and I don't use a lot of processing. I use the essentials. I use like a slapback. I use the H delay, which it's cool.
You don't use reverb on the snares?
No. Do you know what I mean? I try to get the snares as short and as tight as possible, so they have their own space. If I was making like a Duran record, or if I was making a Phil Collins record, then yeah, I'm using reverbs all day. I'll tell you the story about the reverb. Back in the day, the reason why they was all using reverbs, because they spent like 10 grand on this big reverb unit. Same with the sampler. You're gonna use the reverb on everything all day, every day, until you got your 10 grand's worth back on that reverb. And that's why they use it. It's the same. That's the same theory. They just used it because, you know, go for it. Yeah.
Roni, can you give us a couple of tips about bass? How do you manipulate bass, or what's the basis for you?
You know, nowadays a lot's been quite done for you in the machines. You know, there's some industry standard machines that people use. I think it's important when you start on your keyboard. I start around about C, D, like E, maybe E sharp. I kind of start where the note is the most powerfulest. You know, where it's punchy, 60 hertz, I think it's around about that. And the tip is really just don't let the speaker move too much. That's the real main tip for me, is like the bass has to you have to just make sure that it doesn't move so much. You want it to have as less movement as possible, and then yeah, a lot of machines nowadays come with some great presets on the bass. Back to presets again. So, you know, you gotta just pick and choose the sound that you like. You know, it's horses for courses. That's what I personally think. It's horses for courses. But getting back to like vocals and delays and stuff, it's all like a matter of choice. It's like, you know, do you want to use this on here? On female vocals, you know, I tend to use delays. On all vocals I use delays. I use a slapback. I never ever use, really, I don't use, back in the day I did, but nowadays I don't. So I keep it all real simple and tight and in the box. Yeah. If I do one on the vocal, just on Dynamite's vocal, one example. So I've not got much vocal in this, but I'll give you an example of the type of delay that I like to use and how I like to use it. Like this simple slapback. And I'm sure everyone here knows what a slapback is, right? God, you guys are on point today. so yeah, and sometimes I wouldn't even use it.
4 dirty wrists.
As actually put it on the track. Nowadays, you can afford to put everything on its own track. So nowadays, I would just stick
Dirty
it.
wrists, dirty beats.
I'll stick it straight on the track, right? And have it half.
Front rows, back rows, get it trampled. Coming down, new sound, you should be thankful. Dirty wrists, dirty beats, some dirty samples. Sell out shows, take the money, then we cancel. Front rows, back rows, get it trampled. Coming down, new sound, should be thankful. Dirty wrists, dirty beats, dirty samples. Sell out shows, take the money, then we cancel. Front rows, back rows, get it trampled.
You can hear all the stuff in the background, there's chains and all that.
Dirty wrists,
I love all
dirty
that kind of
beats, dirty
stuff.
samples. Sell out shows.
So I would probably treat that a little bit more as well.
Front rows, back rows, get it trampled. Coming down, new sound, should be thankful. Dirty riffs, dirty beats, dirty samples. Sell out shows, take the money, then we cancel. Front rows, back rows, get it trampled. Coming down, new sound, you should be thankful.
Let's go down to that.
Dirty riffs, dirty beats, and dirty samples.
So I want to hear it.
Sell out shows, take the money, then we cancel.
So that sounds really electronic now. So
Get it trampled. Coming down, new sound, should be
so let me
thankful.
just 1 second. Let me just double check. Okay, let me just do that again. Okay.
Coming down, new sound, you should be thankful. Dirty riffs, dirty beats, and dirty samples. Sell out shows, take the money, then we cancel. Front rows, back rows, get it trampled. Coming down, new sound, you should be thankful. Dirty riffs, dirty beats, dirty samples. Sell out shows, take the money.
So I'll probably have it somewhere. That's using my ear. So I'll probably have it somewhere around there.
Coming down, new sound, you should be thankful. Dirty riffs,
So it's still a little bit still electronic, but you know I have to tweak it a little bit here and there, and just get around to it.
Rolls, get it trampled. Coming down, new sound, should be thankful.
But anything really, to me, you don't want to hear it like overshadowing the mix in, you know, to me, all the effects and the processing should never just like be, you can't polish a turd. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, you know, it doesn't matter how much effects you put on there, if it's gonna sound bad, it's gonna sound bad. You know, for me, a lot of effects I put on there when I'm like rushing to do something. If it sounds good, it sounds good anyway. Most of the stuff I try to record, if it's guitars, I record with effects on there anyway, through an amp or through some type of device, foot pedals and stuff like that, which is the vibe, like with guitars and whatever. So, you know, most things I leave kind of dry. But I like that, do you know what I mean? I like that kind of dry sound. And this, again, you know, it's just down to ears, just down to what other people decide what they like to use when they do stuff. It's the same when it comes down to the sequencing. It's all down to your personal taste, what you want to use or what you can navigate around with. So, yeah. So I'm not really sure where else. Is anyone more questions? Anyone else want to ask anything? No? Are we good?
Can I ask a question?
I thought I was off scot-free though.
About the mixing, I mean,
Yeah.
as an artist that involves music, and I spend time in the studio recording and recording on the sound. And so I can spend a lot of time, like you said, like just playing with the waves and different waves and changing and mixing it again and again and again. How do you know where you stop? I mean, besides that you to play the tune that same night. But if you didn't have to.
That's the thing, is like, for me, having my back against the wall is great. I love working under pressure. I kind of do it on purpose, because then the clock is ticking and I'm like, I gotta get this finished. You know, I'm like, deadline time. Set yourself a deadline, set yourself some goals, and then, like, you know, in the first hour you want to make sure that you've got to this stage. In your second hour you want to make sure that you've got to this stage. By your third hour you want to make sure that you're on your final listen. Then I go out and I go into the car. I put it on my CD or get into the car on my phone and I drive around the city, and people's like, oh, it's Benny fucking Roni driving around Bristol again, playing his bass lines outside my house. And I drive around and I do about 10 car tests. And by the time I'm in the car, I listen to everything totally differently than what I do in the studio. Do you know what I mean? And then maybe I'll do the final car test with someone else in the car. I say, listen to this. And then I know in my heart if I want to play it to someone or if I'm too embarrassed to play it to someone. And that's, to me, a good test, is being able to play it to somebody in the car. Yeah, you're comfortable to play, so there's no out of pitch vocals, the bass is nice, it's warm, and when it drops it's cool, it's not too harsh. You can sit down, you've got your brethren in the front of the car, so you come for a drive, and you go down, and you play the tune, and it drops, and everyone looks at each other, and he gives you a seal of approval, he goes, yeah, it sounds great. And then you're good. Then you know you can go off to wherever you go and get cut. Does that answer your question? It's a great place to stop. Okay?
Okay, I think and I feel that we're finished.
Yeah, I think I'm finished.
And we would like to say big thanks and big we would like to thank you for coming here to BPM College, and we would like to thank the British Council and Tether and all the people that collaborate with us to make it happen. I'm Malik, this is Roni. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.